Hello everyone, my name is Angel Munoz, and today my partner Ethan Avila and I will be talking about the documentary on the Sami, which is one of the 3 documentaries we watched in class. Originally, we were going to do a different documentary, but during our brainstorming session, we concluded that this documentary is something that people should know about. Throughout this documentary, we noticed different issues that continue to happen to this day. This documentary portrayed many different issues, but the 2 I will be talking about specifically are discrimination against a certain group of people and a education barrier between the Sami people and scientists who are the ones testing their meat for radiation. Another thing portrayed in this documentary is how when a disaster happens, it affects different people differently, meaning that less fortunate people get hit harder and privileged people suffer little to no effect from this. We want to focus on these issues because it is something not a lot of people are aware about, or they are aware but think it only happens towards one certain group of people. It has been happening for years and in all parts of the world. People suffering from discrimination also suffer from lack of education. This lack of education leads to people not getting the help they need or getting the wrong answers to their questions. This can also be seen today in the medical field. Discrimination is nothing new in the US. We often see people of different race, cultures, and backgrounds be singled out in society and thus having a disadvantage in this world. In this documentary, we see the Sami being discriminated. Outsiders critique their clothes, they critique their ways of living, and they also critique the way they look. An example nowadays in America is discrimination against people of color. People view them as criminals, they view them as less than human, and it's been going on for years. Another thing portrayed in the documentary that we continue to see to this day is how minorities are affected by a lack of education. In the medical field, less educated people have more trouble finding the help they need. Most of the times they don't know who to go to get the help they need, and they are misinformed on what they need. An example I want to give is how non-English speaking folks here in the Americas, when non-English people go for say a doctor's appointment, they don't speak English, so they're already at a disadvantage. There is a law that says that non-English speaking folks in the US have the right to an interpreter or a translator. If a person doesn't know the language, how are they going to get the help they need? Many people don't know about this law, and that's also due to lack of education.
Hi, my name is Ethan Avila, and today I'm reviewing a documentary with my partner Angel Munoz. And the documentary we're reviewing is about the Chernobyl people and how the disaster of radiation has affected them. The main subject it covers in this documentary is the Sami people, who are reindeer herders, and they've been doing it throughout generations. And it's just been super hard for them due to the radiation that's within the reindeer now. What they do is they sell the meat, and due to the radiation that's inside of the meat, they are unable to sell it because there's too much radiation according to their government's law. But they did try to fight the government, and they asked if they could increase the radiation within the reindeer. And this law did pass, and the scientists were still able to find out that an increased amount of radiation wouldn't affect people if the meat was consumed. So the law did pass, but the Sami people still tried to sell their meat, and there was still too much radiation within the reindeer's meat, so they still wouldn't be able to sell the meat. And this great disaster had such a big effect on the Sami people, which could overall just stop the reindeer herding in general. And these people are also discriminated, and they receive less education out there, which is something that does occur now in our world. And it's something that I think more people need to see and try to change. So most of the traditions that the Sami people do will most likely come to an end and just end generations of reindeer herding, because there's just nothing they can do about the radiation that's in the meat, and there's no way to really fix it because the food that the reindeer eat as well is also full of radiation, and it's just overall negatively just impacted these people, which has just caused a very big hardship on them.
To conclude, this documentary was very good. It talked about many different issues, including some that continue to happen to this day. The title of this documentary is An Invisible Enemy, Disappearing World, published by the ITV Global Entertainment Limit in 1987. Some of the information about the loss in this review came from the lawhelp.org article titled Your Right to Assistance in Your Language, Basic Information about the Federal Language Access Rights.